You're not at a standstill in life due to a lack of talent or ability. The reason you may feel lost is simply that you haven't been taught how to harness your voice as a powerful instrument for shaping how the world perceives you. Everyday interactions, such as a brief exchange in an elevator, a presentation during a meeting, or sharing your view amidst a crowd, hold immense potential for first impressions. What primarily influences how others perceive you is not your intelligence quotient, your credentials, or your academic achievements. Instead, it's the manner in which you communicate. Although facial expressions might initially capture attention, it's your voice that genuinely compels people to engage or causes them to disengage within moments of your speaking. This ability to command attention is not a matter of luck or natural charisma. It is a skill, one that can be cultivated and developed. In our fast-paced world, where individuals are judged within seconds, the ability to articulate your thoughts intelligently has moved beyond being a bonus. It's now a prerequisite. You may enter a meeting without having opened your agenda, listed your accomplishments, or even been prompted with a question. Yet within a few introductory phrases, the person sitting across from you has already arrived at a silent conclusion. You are either worth their attention or easily disregarded. Why is it that some individuals capture everyone's attention the moment they speak, while others struggle to be noticed, even when they share valuable insights? The answer lies in the clarity and structure of their speech. They have mastered a skill that you too can acquire. Numerous studies from esteemed institutions like Princeton and Harvard reveal that humans form initial opinions of others within just 200 milliseconds of hearing their voice. This means that if you fail to engage someone right, and at the outset you do not get a second chance. Factors such as tone, clarity, and vocabulary collectively create your vocal signature, which can either unlock opportunities or quietly close doors you never anticipated. Some mistakenly equate intelligent speech with the use of overly complex terminology or applying a newscaster's tone. However, genuine intelligent communication involves speaking accurately, clearly, and most importantly, honestly, without raising your voice. When an individual is confident in their beliefs, they don't feel the necessity to embellish their dialogue with ornate language. Instead, their voice exudes weight, not because of its loudness, but because of the substantive meaning that underpins each utterance. Developing this skill does not require you to alter your identity, act, or mimic anyone else. Rather, it invites you to comprehend how the listener's mind functions. A listener engages with your words because they feel directed, because they sense structure in the way you propose your ideas, and because they trust your understanding of the subject and its significance. Effective speakers do not clutter discussions with self-promotion. Instead, they guide conversations with clarity and purpose. You don't need to possess a naturally gifted voice to be compelling. What you require is to master the art of well-placed pauses, judicious word selection, and emotional conveyance. Impactful communication doesn't necessitate verbosity. Every sentence should serve a clear purpose, whether it's to connect, provoke thought, or deliver a noteworthy message. It's crucial to recognize that listeners don't assess your worth based on your knowledge, but rather through how effectively you communicate it. A brilliant concept delivered hesitantly, vaguely, or without direction can be undervalued, while a simple thought, if articulated with confidence and clarity, can sway the decisions of an entire audience. The underlying issue has never been the quality of your ideas, but rather how you express them verbally. Avoid confusing being natural with being careless. Adept speakers don't simply talk off the cuff. They rehearse and prepare meticulously. They understand that each time they speak, they craft a new version of themselves in someone else's perspective. They do not squander opportunities on a string of like, or I'm not really sure. They savor moments of silence, knowing when to speak and when to pause. A skill that is vital in a noisy world, where those who emulate restraint often become the ones who are genuinely heard. Consider the leaders, speakers, and inspirational figures you have admired. They don't merely recite words, they narrate stories. They don't lecture, they steer thoughts. They don't shout to capture attention, they simply speak. And the world becomes quiet to listen, having recognized that communication is an integral part of their identity. The journey toward effective communication begins with awareness. The moment you realize that speaking well is within your grasp, you begin to seize control of how others respond to you. Credibility isn't handed to you. It is built, one word, one sentence, and one conversation at a time. Instead of withdrawing when you feel you cannot articulate your thoughts, adopt the mindset of a diligent learner. Read voraciously to expand your knowledge. Observe others to deepen your understanding. Practice consistently to transform your skills. Train yourself in the most minor, everyday interactions, unordered greetings, feedback exchanges, and personal introductions, because great communicators do not wait for opportunities. They create them using their own voices. Your voice is not merely a tool. It is a declaration of your thoughts. You have the ability to sharpen it like a sword, soften it like a gentle breeze, or ground it like a solid rock. However, this transformation requires you to abandon the belief that you were destined not to speak effectively and to embrace the notion that this skill is essential for your survival. Now ask yourself, if my voice has the potential to open doors, instigate change, and redefine my presence in any conversation, what reason remains for me to postpone dedicating time and effort to honing this skill? Your voice needs not be the loudest. It merely needs to connect with the emotional and cognitive reactions of your audience. Neuroscience research has demonstrated that people are not impressed by elaborate vocabulary. Instead, they are attracted to rhythm, clarity, and language that is easy for their minds to process and emotions to resonate with. The more coherently and purposefully you communicate, the more your audience perceives you as reliable, intelligent, and credible. This goes beyond the realm of public speaking. It taps into fundamental human biology. The mind naturally gravitates towards structure rather than complexity. When it encounters a steady voice with natural inflections and well-placed pauses, it releases dopamine, a chemical that engenders pleasure. This explains why you may find yourself drawn to a speaker upon their initial words while feeling uneasy with someone who rambles, speaks too rapidly, or avoids pauses. In a time when attention is a scarce commodity, anything that makes it difficult for the listener to grasp your message will be quickly discarded. Research conducted by scientists at the University of California has confirmed that language is received far more efficiently when presented with rhythm, intonation, and appropriate pauses. That's why the most engaging TED Talks are never hurried. Talented speakers control not just their pace, but also the emotional resonance of their delivery. They understand weights and to lower their tone to instill trust, and they know when to pause, not out of hesitation, but as a strategic move to convey the gravity of their message. A short pause following a significant statement should not be mistaken for insecurity. It's a deliberate tactic. A well-timed silence can serve as a weapon for the astute communicator, compelling the listener to stop scrolling through thoughts and truly contemplate what has been shared. It's during these moments of reflection that the brain captures what it processes. Tone serves as the outer layer encapsulating your message. The phrase, "I'm fine," can convey multiple interpretations depending solely on the tone used. Spoken in a deep, slow voice, it may project certainty. In contrast, expressed in a quick, high-pitched tone, it might suggest anxiety. Your voice is more than a vehicle for information. It conveys emotion, and emotion inspires reactions. Astute communicators understand how to modulate their volume, ensuring it is neither overpowering nor feeble. They know how to subtly emphasize crucial words to direct the listener's attention precisely where they wish it to be, much like a guide leading the way. The impact of word choice is profound. Emphasizing different words in a single sentence can change its meaning entirely. For instance, "I never said she took the money" can be read in several ways based on stress and emphasis. Wise communicators go beyond merely uttering the right things. They actively shape the listener's perception through selective emphasis. They speak less, but each word resonates with purpose. Beyond mere content, even your breathing and sentence pauses impart meaning. Rapid breathing may convey tension, while deep, steady breaths inspire tranquility. Your voice serves as a direct conduit for emotion, engaging with the listener's nervous system. You cannot build trust with an unsteady voice. However, mastering breath control ensures that your vocal presence remains stable. Once your voice achieves steadiness, the audience is inclined to ease. Engage and genuinely listen. Recollect the iconic "I Have a Dream" speech delivered by Martin Luther King Jr. While few can recall each word, many remember the rhythmic cadence of his delivery. This mastery didn't arise from an inherent gift. It was rooted in a profound understanding of rhythm, tone, and human emotion. His voice transcended mere sound. It embodied belief, hope, and conviction, immortalizing his message in the annals of history. Further studies from Harvard have demonstrated that speakers who maintain a measured pace with deliberate emphasis and calculated pauses are regarded as more intelligent and trustworthy than those who speak hastily or without control. There's no need to drag out phrases excessively. Instead, allow each message sufficient breathing room to resonate within the listener's psyche. Rushing through words rarely inspires. Rather, a composed demeanor draws attention. Here's a crucial takeaway. Listeners are not swayed by your accolades or accomplishments. They react to how you articulate your message. When your voice conveys clarity, emotion, and emphasis with precision, you forgo the need to prove yourself. Your voice alone can become the catalyst for trust and belief. To master this craft, focus on 3 core principles. First, speak slightly slower, not to consume time, but to enable the listener to keep pace with your thoughts. Second, emphasize critical words, not to embellish, but to guide their attention precisely. Third, understand the power of pauses, recognizing that silence can sometimes leave a more profound impact than words themselves. In essence, when you create a harmonious rhythm in your communication, you please the brain and open the heart. The impact of your voice, or rather, how you employ it in moving others emotionally, organizing thoughts, and guiding dialogue, will determine whether every room falls silent upon our arrival. Smart communicators don't utilize words to display intellectual prowess. They use language to facilitate understanding, emphasizing that true brilliance in communication lies not in employing complex terminology, but in conveying profound ideas using simplicity. When you grasp a concept fully, you can articulate it clearly without wrapping it in layers of jargon. A common misconception misguides many. They equate effective speaking with sounding overly intellectual. They mix in technical jargon, academic articulation, and convoluted sentences, forcing the listener to decipher the core message. It's no surprise to find that, despite being correct in their assertions, they fail to connect. The root cause is straightforward. They overburden their audience, making engagement arduous instead of presenting ideas in a natural, accessible manner. As Einstein famously said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Clear thinkers always aim to articulate messages concisely. They don't seek to impress, they endeavor to convey. That simple intention leaves a deeper, lasting impact. Instead of explaining that cognitive stratification leads to phase dissonance in interpersonal communication models, an intelligent speaker might simply say, when 2 people think too differently, they don't understand each other. Both phrases convey similar meanings, yet one leaves the listener feeling overwhelmed, while the other fosters understanding and openness to learning. Simplicity does not diminish depth. Conversely, it allows understanding to flourish. Words serve as tools. When used as barriers, they alienate. When used as bridges, they invite connection. So ask yourself, are you crafting walls or building bridges with your words? Embracing simplicity is not indicative of laziness. Rather, it requires sharper thinking, refined choices, and the discipline to remove any non-essential elements, like a sculptor who creates masterpieces. Because not by adding more, but by chiseling away the superfluous, the world's most influential communicators, visionary leaders, engaging speakers, and renowned authors convey clarity without unnecessary complexity. They speak plainly and deliver strong, potent words that resonate. Their sentences exist not to showcase themselves, but to unlock insights within the listener. They recognize that one impactful sentence can change a life, considering their audience should not require a thesaurus to reap valuable insights. Every communicator needs skill, but exceptional communicators focus on clarity over verbosity. To train yourself in concise communication, begin by engaging deeply with your speech. Before explaining a concept, ask yourself, is there a more succinct way to deliver this without losing meaning? Rather than saying, I would like to express my personal perspective on the topic under discussion, opt for, I have a thought to share. Replace from a long-term strategic organizational standpoint with in the long run. You're not sacrificing professionalism, you're enhancing your message's accessibility and memorability. Don't overlook the potency of strong verbs. Instead of saying someone made a decision, say they decided. Rather than stating she proceeded to provide assistance, simply say she helped. Each time you eliminate superfluous words, you sharpen the overall message significantly. Wise communicators don't attempt to say more. They learn to convey less with greater impact. Picture explaining a complex idea to a child. If you struggle, it's time to reconsider your approach. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with more motivational content, like share and comment to support our work and spread the message.